Well, I talked about it, and here it is. This is a Buck 620 Reaper. Now, this is a Walmart exclusive version. As you know, I love to get myself Walmart exclusive Bucks, Gerbers, well, any knife that's an exclusive at Walmart. This happens to be the 620 Reaper, but with rosewood handles. Now, this one, the only reason it differentiates itself from the other Reaper series knives is the fact that it comes with a wooden handle instead of the injected polymer, or there have been some that I've seen that actually have a micarta handle, and I'll explain that in a minute. But this one is a massive knife. This is obviously not an everyday carry. You can see that it is much larger than my hand. This is a 6 3/4 inch drop blade on this one. It's got the similar jimping to other buck knives, but it has an extra set of jimping so that if you're doing any work by clearing anything, and that's the intention of this knife. This is a true outdoorsman camp style knife. You could not carry this in most states that I'm aware of just by due to the fact the sheer size on the 620. Now, the Reaper series has, that gruesome name, but it's got a false top on it. That's not a secondary sharpened top. You could sharpen it though. If you wanted to go in and sharpen this, you would actually have a pretty nasty fighting style knife. And the fighting style knives comes from the term when you talk about World War I and II, where when you got into hand-to-hand combat, you had a fighting style knife, and that would be in the instance that you actually had to defend yourself with a knife as opposed to a firearm or any type of other weapon. So, this knife here, the intention is to be a camp knife. It pays a little bit of homage to some older fighting style knives. It's fairly light for this size knife. I have some EC knives and Ontario knives that are similar in blade length but way heavier. This knife, they have a lower profile blade on here, a thinner profile blade I should say. And sharpening, I'll tell you, this 420 high carbon steel, I could cut myself fairly easily on this. There's no need to put an edge on it right away. It comes fairly sharp. Now, I did say there are other versions of the Reaper. Now, what I have seen on the internet is a different sheath. I don't know if it was something that was custom made, but I did see a full polymer sheath as opposed to this just nylon sheath with a polymer insert for the actual knife so that it doesn't cut through. Okay, but the main difference has been the handle. Now, I mentioned that there were other handles that were the polymer injected, just the plastic handles. Those I've seen for about $50. This one sells for anywhere from $40 to $48 at Walmart. I have seen them as high as $55, but you know how prices fluctuate at Walmart. The other ones do have the lanyard hole. This one does not, but as on other buck knives, same blade template. If you remove these two screws right here, you could simply drill through the handles because it's already in the butt of this blade where you can run your lanyard string through. You just have to do it to the handle right there. Now, I did see one that had micarta handles that it looked like somebody had made in a sheath that didn't look like a normal buck sheath, and it was $65. But I tell you what, it was a really good looking knife. I've also seen where people take off this finger guard right here and grind it down and then smooth off the top right here, change the whole profile of the knife. They strip this coating off. Once again, this is this military grade type coating. It'll remind you of a truck bedliner material, but not quite as thick. You can grind this off, this finish right here, grind this off with actually taking the metal off, and this little notch right here. And you have a totally different profile knife, if you could imagine. And so that's what I saw for $65. But if you're looking for a Walmart exclusive buck, and you're looking for something that you're mainly going to put away, because this one would only be used if you're going out in the woods, and you could skin something with it, but it's not even a practical size for that. This is more nature of chopping. You could clear light brush with it. You could do a little bit of woodwork with it, You could use it as a defensive knife, but you're probably going to end up in trouble if you ever do have to use it, just by the sheer size of it. Mainly it's a collector piece to me. I mean, I know I'm going to put it back in the box and keep it. It feels real nice. There's only a need to oil the exposed part of the blade because everything else on this knife is fully coated, which is nice. And I have seen, as a matter of fact, a variation on this that someone had that this was actually a gray finish with the same wood handle. So I'm looking for that one. If I find it, I'll add it to the collection so I can have twins. I always like to have two knives that are almost identical but have one production factor that separates them. So if you're looking for yourself a buck knife that is large, well, this is about as large as they come. 6 3/4, 420, high carbon steel, US made, buck. Can't go wrong. Now, talking about knives from Walmart. I did a couple reviews on $10 knives. And I have one that was less than $10 that is actually a fail. Not this one, of course. But next time I'll talk about this. It's a Gerber knife, costs less than $10, and I would not recommend it. I wouldn't even give it away to somebody, and I'll show you why. So look forward to see what happens when a knife that you buy fails. I look forward to telling you about that. Happy hunting. I hope you get yourself a good one that's safe and holds up. Enjoy.